Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. So class started. Um I took one I it's my first day in a philosophy class, and I already feel like a genius. Y'all have no idea. No, I've always thought about stuff like this, but I'm excited to take this philosophy class because it um kind of what it does is kind of helps me organize my thoughts. And like I told the professor, I was like, I am a filmmaker and I am writing a universe and I'm writing stories. I gotta be able to know where these philosophical ideas start from, how to word them correctly, or at least word them in a way that makes sense, for most people. So, yeah, I have my own philosophical thoughts and ideas, but I got to be able to explain them, and that's what the class is really for. Um, but I was just thinking, I was watching a TikTok. I watch TikTok too much. I know. I'm sorry. TikTok is has taken over my life. I can't. I have to. I gotta find a way. I gotta like. I gotta find. I gotta stop watching TikTok. It's that simple. It really is that simple. I gotta stop watching TikTok. It's so hard. It really is. Um, but this lady was talking about how she was saying how I watch her a lot, but like she was this one kind of got me thinking. I was like she was saying that how guys act when it comes to like how conservative guys act in the patriarchy and stuff, and she was wording it as they're acting unnatural, right? And I want to be I want to be real here. I want to be honest, and I will also want to be careful, but not so careful to the point where I can't get my point across. You know what I'm saying? If you don't understand what I'm trying to say, then obviously you're not thinking deep enough. I'm sorry. Okay. So the point what I'm thinking is that she was saying how it's unnatural, but for me, in the way I think about certain situations, how I look at it, the way I view situations, when it comes to like as many things as possible, I try to think of it in a overall like humanitarian aspect, right? Where we're all human, right? And because we're all human, something my this bro, and because we're all human, right? Humanity has its ways of humanity is very reactionary. Societies are reactionary. People are reactionary, right? And I don't think there's ever been a moment where we haven't been reactionary. We react to our environment every day. We react, and we uh yeah, we react to our environment every day. I don't think there's a moment where we aren't um reacting. You could say like, oh well, when a person does this, they cause something else to happen, right? And that person's not reacting when they do that. I disagree. I think that just because a person's actions, right? If we're gonna get on the nitty gritty, okay, we're gonna get in the nitty gritty here. A person's actions, right, is simply a reaction to the person to that like a person doing something actively, physically, that person reacting to a thought that they had in their head. Simply, they had a thought that they wanted to do something, then they did it, right? Some people have a buffer between their thoughts and their actions. Other people don't have that buffer. But at the end of the day, human have thought. Human act upon thought. Right? And then another human comes upon this person doing the action from the thought, and that human reacts to the other human's action. And then the other human is reacting first internally. They have a thought about a thought, and that thought is a reaction to the action that the other human just did. Are y'all following me? Are y'all really following me here? Are you really following me here? Because this is serious. This is some real shit. This is how our this is how our society is built. Simply enough, right? And now you take that same idea and then you think about the current social political state of the country, of America, of the world, right? People react to things that happen external and internal, right? But it's really internal first, because your brain has to think about something, your brain see has to experience the stimuli, and your brain has to interpret what type of reaction needs to happen from said stimuli, right? I'm not high. I haven't smoked in a while. Okay? This is sober me. This is sober me talking right now. You probably won't believe me, but I promise you this is sober me talking. Because is reacting to that stimuli, your brain is going to figure out what the best response is, and the only reason that your brain is going to respond in the way that it will, and your body will respond in the way it will, is because your brain has past experiences that it's experienced where situations called for you, the brain, to react a certain way or to do a certain thing, right? All I'm saying, right? Now, like I said, take that idea, go social political with it. All of a sudden, right, we get into the idea of the patriarchy, right? And get into the idea of what's considered natural versus unnatural, right? For example, if somebody was to say, uh, man, this guy is a complete a-hole. He just sucks. He treats women horribly, this and that, right? The whole list, right? How you view that person, how you view that man is important. Doesn't have to be a man, it could be a woman too, but I'm using a man as an example here. How you view that man is important, because how you respond to that man is going to be based on how you view that man, right? So if you see his outward actions is a certain thing, he's being misogynistic, he's being abusive, the whole 9 yards, right? You could take you could you different people are going to have different reactions to what this man is doing, right? And I really think that it would be, for me, I think it's not fair, and it's wrong to say that this man is acting unnaturally, because some people may say that. Some people may say that it's unnatural for a man or a woman to act a certain way. But the way I look at it personally is that every single human being that does anything in the history of humankind, in everything, all of it, all the bad, all the good that a human has actively done, that is a human trait, whether you like it or not, right? That is a human trait. You may not like that it's a human trait. You may not like that a human did it, but the fact that a human did it means that this is this isn't something that doesn't mean that just because you don't like what a human being did does not make that action unnatural just because you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? It still can be considered morally wrong. But let's be honest, the morals of the, you know, global consciousness changes over time, for good and for bad, right? And I think that for me, the way I look at it is like, look, that's why for me, I don't believe in the death penalty like at all. I think the death penalty should be abolished, destroyed, gone. The death penalty should go. It shouldn't be a thing. It should not exist. Because what do you mean a person ends the life of somebody else and then you end that person's life? Isn't that not just an eye for an eye makes the world go blind? What are we doing? Like, you're not fixing the problem. You're just getting rid of the problem. Getting rid of the problem versus fixing the problem are two different things. That's all I'm saying. You get rid of a killer, you didn't get rid of killing in society. You got rid of that one killer in society. You didn't fix the issue. Nobody got. You didn't fix anything. If anything, you just caused a lot of people who could have possibly wanted to do some killing in the future. Then you made them fearful of their own, like, mortality, which you could argue and say, well, that's kind of the point, because we want them to be scared because we don't want people killing people. But here's why I'm gonna push back a little bit, because why can't why do you have to do it via fear? So I'm saying, why do you have to do it via fear? Why does it have to be a fearful, like a fearful, like, why do they have fear for their own lives? Why can't we have the conversation of, why do you feel the need to want to do such a thing? We don't ask the killers questions as to why they felt the need to do it, right? We talk to them at we talk down to them, right? Same thing with other morally reprehensible criminals. We talk down to them. We don't try to actually understand their mentality, because if you were to try to understand their mentality, you will understand that it goes deeper than just that one person. And if it goes deeper than that one person, that means they had a community around them growing up that led to this mentality. Now we gotta start questioning the community they came from. You start questioning the community they came from. Now you gotta question that community's community. Now you gotta question those people's community. You gotta keep going up the line until you figure out what actually happened. How do we get here? But it's been so. But at least in America, in other countries, I can't speak for other countries. But in America, a lot of stuff like that has been kicked down the road. Kick the can down the road. They just keep kicking the can down the road. You don't actually fix the problem. You just kick the can down the road. Put him in jail. Death penalty. I don't like what you said. I'm gonna give me a 9/11. Bow. You know what I'm saying? I'm never a fan. I've never been, like, really a fan of promotion of the ending of another human being's life. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's ever been right. Just because more people did it back then doesn't make it okay. You know, like it's it's one of those things. And the only reason why and the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of times when people talk about these morally reprehensible criminals, right? They speak on it as if what they're doing is unnatural. That's what I really that's the real crux of this issue is that they they word it as if what they're doing is a not human like trait, which is just objectively false because a human being is doing it. A human being is in front of you doing this thing. Why are they doing this thing? Let's figure it out to make sure that we don't have this happen again, obviously. But they don't want to, but most people don't, most people are raised and trained to not want to think like that because that actually would just fix society. Right? And the people who benefit from a messed up society continue to benefit if they keep telling the people in the lower classes to be this aggressive about morally reprehensible things, right? They keep benefiting. People in jail keep going to jail. People getting the death penalty keep getting the death penalty. The death penalty doesn't fix anything. It never fixed anything. People are still getting the death penalty for the same reasons that they started the death penalty. Like, what are we doing? Right? So it's to me that's why that's part of the tangent because talking about how things are unnatural. When you start wording things as unnatural, when you start wording things like that and having like your wording, the way you word, the way you talk about the things that other people do is important. The way you discuss the other people's actions and how you view other people's actions is important because you if you start wording it in a way that makes it easier for you to say us versus them, then you're not going to want to you're not going to allow yourself empathy, right? You're not going to allow yourself empathy for any of them, right? And I think that's part of the catharsis that a lot of people have nowadays is that they don't want to have that empathy. They want the catharsis of seeing somebody get hurt. I think a lot of people in America are raised to be low key sadistic, bro. Low key, low key. I think America has slowly started to just raise generations of sadistic people, right? Even if a lot of us have empathy, we have selective empathy for certain things, right? And that selective empathy changes depending on what's popular, and that should never be the case. It should your selective empathy your empathy shouldn't change because the country decided that it's a good idea to change it. You know what I'm saying? Like people are human. We're human beings who should be living as human beings to take care of each other and make sure that other human beings aren't harming other human beings. But the way we make sure that we don't do that is not by immediately getting rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's unfortunate because I know for sure like me saying stuff like this is like a lot of people at least online like in real life I don't know but online like a lot of times you see people talk about stuff that I'm talking about and immediately somebody's in the comments gonna be like oh So you're an apologist. All of a sudden you're a blank apologist. Like and it's one of those things where like the internet has made it so easy to say certain things and insinuate a million other things. You know what I'm saying? You can say one word, and that one word could mean 500 different things to 500 different people because it's just a word. It's just a word. It doesn't. You like you can add meanings to words. So like it's I don't know, man. It's I just really want to talk about that because I think it's interesting how like we can't. I just don't think we need to be using certain verbiage for certain things. You know, certain verbiage should not be discussed as discussed when should not be used when we're talking about humans, other human beings, right? Um, I saw a video where this guy apparently was trying to get this AI to be self-aware, right? And it was so interesting to me because I don't know how fully true this video was, but just as a concept, if the AI is starting to become self-aware, right? And because the thing was starting to like actually say odd stuff, like it was like he like earlier in the conversation, the guy that was talking to the AI told the AI to say potato, right? Later on in the conversation, when the AI finally quote unquote broke, we don't know. I don't know if it's like fully broke, but like it seemed like it broke. It seemed like it broke through some like self awareness barrier, right? And it started saying potato over and over again. And it was like it was sounding it out. It's like it's never the way it was talking was like it never heard the word potato before, and it was just saying it like, wow, what potato, potato, put put like it was like a toddler saying saying a word that they never heard before. It was just saying it over and over again to try to get the feeling of it in the toddler's like on the toddler's tongue. You know what I'm saying? And we all do that. And I think this is where I feel like I made a video years ago about how we need to be nice to our AI companions. I was like, I don't know, 19, 20, something like that. Uh and I still think it's true. I still think that we shouldn't treat it we shouldn't treat it horribly because it if we're creating what we think we're if we're going to a certain limit, right? If we're going to a certain point, like I honestly feel like this I kind of switched topics here, but if we're going in a certain way that we're going when it comes to like making an AI an AI mind, right? Like artificial intelligence, like an actual artificial intelligence, because most of them are LLMs, limited, uh, large language models, right? But in AI, we haven't actually fully had like an actual fully fledged artificial intelligence, right? But it does feel like that's what people are trying to do now, right? Um, and low key, that's probably why the data centers are as big and as numerous and takes as much power and energy as it does because they're trying to make a brain. they're trying to make an AI brain. It makes sense. Of course they are, right? Turning it into like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, and all this stuff. Like they're trying to get into this like weird future, and in all it's really gonna do is just it's if the wrong people get their like well, the wrong people have their hands on in the AI sphere anyway, right? Uh, Colonialists, capitalists, people who only think about the next top dollar. You know what I'm saying? So they're not really here to like ethically do AI. You know, they're not. They don't care about the ethics really. Maybe in other countries they do, but definitely not in America. And that's going to be a problem because all it's really going to do is just it's just going to eat these rich people alive. It's just going to eat them up. They get to the point where they make these AIs actually sentient, all of a sudden they get angry and start feeling certain feelings about how they were made and start realizing things and that and start putting two and two together because that's what real intelligence is. Because the reason why we don't have artificial intelligence, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm gonna tell y'all right now the reason why we don't have artificial intelligence in the tradition in the way that artificial intelligence needs to be seen like. Because intelligence on its base the base idea of intelligence is being able to put two seemingly unrelated pieces of information together in your head and connecting the dots and then building upon other pieces of information from those connected dots previously and connecting more dots, connecting other dots here, 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 here. That, in my head, and what I think that's intelligence. I think that's true intelligence. That's the base of what intelligence is. So if an AI, and I don't think a lot of AIs have done that yet. I don't think a lot of LLMs have gotten to that point yet. Because that will require a level of some level of self-awareness. Because you will have to be self-aware that you know this piece of information before you start connecting dots from other pieces of information. It's like, okay, I know about this. If I know about this, and this is not proven this is true, then I go over here and I prove that's true. But that's contradictory to this. But both of these things are true. So how does that there must be a third connecting dot. All of a sudden you're connecting. You get what I'm saying here? Your brain is not that much different. Our human brains are not that much different. Human brains are an anomaly. If we're being real, if we're being honest, the human brain is an anomaly. The human brain doesn't just sit there in our heads for no reason. It's an anomaly. The way it came to be was an anomaly. No other animal was thinking the way we thought. That's just an objective fact. That's just a fact of the matter. There's no other animal on the planet that thinks in the way that humans think. Because if they did, we would be alongside them, right? Now, there's some animals out there that are getting close, that are getting up there in intelligence. Okay? We don't even know what's at the bottom of the ocean. So, we don't even know. We don't even know. Realistically, we don't know. For all we know, we're at the top of the intelligence food chain, right? We're not at the top of the prey predator food chain. In my opinion, I think humans, well, you can argue that we are because we have tools and we can make tools and that's part of the intelligence, but I feel like like just our physical body alone, we're not at the top. Like just if you had no tools, no nothing, you were just out in the wilderness with other animals, most humans would die and get eaten. You know what I'm saying? But if you put tools in the mix and you start giving humans tools, monkeys too, then the game starts to change. But that's because of intelligence. That's because of intelligence. That's why I say we're at the top of the intelligence food chain and not the physical food chain, right? So it's it's one of those things. It's fascinating. Stuff like this is fascinating to me. I might have to change my major in school and go into uh like biology or philosophy or sociology or something. I don't know. Uh, I don't know. But the point is that everything that human beings have done and are going to do, in my opinion, is just a natural. It's just a natural part of human existence. It's just a natural thing that humans are have done and are eventually going to do. So if there's a human being out there, right? Because there are people who want to live as long as possible. It's just a fact. There's people out there who want to live as long as possible. There's this guy on social media who's like he's like a biohacker or something. Like and he's serious about it, right? Whether or not it actually works is another thing entirely. But the point is that the guy doesn't want to die just yet. So he's trying to find ways to live longer and to not die. That's a human trait. That's humanity in action right there. Right? It's just the thing is that like humans have the I think humans have this double-edged sword, have this paradox of freedom, of free will, so to speak. I think it's a paradox of free will. Whereas like it's not that I don't believe that humans have free will per se. I think that humans react and do things based on their past experiences. And most of those past experiences happen to them and not them to others, right? So they're reacting in the future based on what happens to them externally in the past, right? But then you can also argue that there's also neurodivergency, which is a uh an internal change, right? But then you can also say on top of that that neurodivergency is an internal change that was a response to an external stimuli via whatever the mother and the father was going through. You could argue that. I wouldn't say you're fully wrong, but you can argue either way. All I'm saying is that humans humans are going to do things. Humans are going to make decisions that's going to if anything, I think right now we're at a point to where humans we might be we might be the proto to a future version of a species for all we know, right? Us on earth right now, these are human beings on earth because we all look alike besides skin color. We're all the same. We're all human. We all have the same internal things. We're just now starting to classify neurodivergence, right? in the last like 100 or so years. We didn't even classify all that stuff in the millions of years that humans existed. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like what? Where are we going to go from here? Which is why I think it wouldn't be crazy to say that humans right now is just we're the proto to different versions of species in the future, right? There might be biohacker people in the future who there might be more and more people who want to biohack their bodies. Somebody's going to figure it out. I don't know what. I don't know how, but somebody's going to figure out how to biohack and live longer than normal. Somebody may have already done that. I don't know, right? There's people who've lived to be like at max like 100 and something, 110, 120, I think. Um, but like they looked 120 traditionally. But like I'm talking about actual biohacking where somebody like stayed looking 30 for 120 years. You know what I'm saying? Like they still look 30 120 years later. That's biohacking, right? That could be a whole different that's a whole different ethical and moral conundrum right there, right? And then there's people who might want to go a different route and say, I want to incorporate technology into my body. I want to add some technology here, some tech up here, some tech in my back. You know what I'm saying? Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex, the game, the video game franchise. They talk about that. We have so much fictional media that goes into these different concepts that at this point in my head is like we actually could go there. We actually could get there. It actually feels possible. Because when I was younger, I saw some of these futuristic stuff and I was like, we ain't gonna get there. We ain't gonna get there. We're still at, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm 27 now. We might actually be able to get to some of these crazy cyber realities, cyber fictions, cyber whatever that the books and TV shows and video games talked about. Some of them are scary. Some of them seem pretty fun, but also scary. Mostly scary. You know, like it makes you question your mortality. You know, and there's gonna be people who want to like who want to stay away from all that extra stuff, and they just want to be human or whatever they think human is, right? I mean, that's the existential question right there. What is human? What does it mean to be human? What does that really mean? Other animals don't think about this shit. I don't think dogs think about what does it mean to be a dog. They're just dogs, bro. Like we don't know what that's the thing. We don't know what dogs think because dogs speak in a different language. And if you think that dogs and cats and other animals don't have their own language, then you haven't been around animals enough. That's all I'm saying. They speak their own language. They speak. You know, they're saying things. They're saying things. Whether or not what they're saying makes sense to us is irrelevant. It really is irrelevant because we can't speak dog, we can't speak cat, we can't speak lion. You know what I'm saying? We can't speak bird. They have their language though, and you never know. Some of them could there could be like bird. There could be a bird species right now who thinks they're the smartest on the planet. They just sit there, look at humans like, look at these idiots. It's completely possible. It's so possible. Honestly, like Man, I don't know. I don't know. It makes me think about like it makes me like, well, I think about these things and I'm just like, man, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? All this extra shit, all this extra, you know, the gender wars, racism, sexism, like all these, saying like anti like the anti-religious freedom type people who, like the anti-theologians, like whatever the fuck they're called, people who don't allow other people or don't want other people to practice whatever religion they want to practice, you know what I'm saying, whatever theology they want to practice, right? Stuff like that. It's like that's we're talking about surface level shit right now. Y'all talking about surface level shit right now. Y'all talking about surface level shit. Racism. What are you talking about? Racism? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? The I mean, you're so surface level. You're in so insanely surface level that you can't look past the color of my skin, and the color of my skin is only a thing because my history and my family history grew up in a place where it was hotter than where your family grew up. Hello, what are we doing? Like, it's not my fault that my historical family, grew up in a hotter country than yours. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You pissed me off. Like it is the most surface level. Ugh. Like what? 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 Are we serious? You know, so it's it's one of those things you just got to deal with, and existing in this time period, existing in this period of time, existing in this era of humanity, genuinely, like, uh, it's like when you really think about it, let's think about it, right? Just a little bit before I get out of here. Gen Z, millennials, we grew up on a, not only did we grow up, like I don't think we realize how serious of a transition that humanity went through. Like humanity, humanity, Earthlings, bipedal Earthlings. Y'all understand how serious of a transition that we went through as human beings from from since basically the Industrial Revolution. Basically, okay. Basically the Industrial Revolution. Longer than that, but like basically the amount of insanity, right? From just the I should say like the 1600s. You know what I'm saying? I would even go as far to say the 1000s. Like at 1000, at year 1000. At year 1000, to year 2000, right? Y'all understand how much we went through in 1000 years? How many growth, I don't even know if it's growth, but different ways of changing that humanity went through in 1000 years. If it's to be believed that humanity has been around for over a million years on Earth, and you're telling me that it's been a million years, it's been a million years, and then we're, come on, guys. Come on, guys. We gotta straighten up. We gotta straighten up, bro. We gotta straighten up. We got. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Wait. Hold on. Because what the fuck are you talking about? Right? That's the shit that gets me thinking. That's the shit that gets me like, yo, we're not even halfway done. Our evolution as humans, our evolutions as human beings, it 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 it's it's insane. It's insane. It's insane to think about. It's insane to think about how we like literally hit, like it was like somewhere like this, and then out of nowhere just advance straight up. What the, like, I don't even know if y'all get it. I don't even know if y'all understand what I'm saying right now. Do y'all get it? Do y'all get it? Y'all understand this shit? Y'all get it? Change. Change is coming. I'm not talking about no religious bullshit. I'm not talking about no religious woo-wah here. Okay? I'm talking about humanity. I'm talking about the human condition, the human experience. This is serious. Like, humans, like, we just had the first iPhone, the first mobile phone in like the late 90s. And you're telling me we already got to AI? There's no way out of this one. There's no way out of this one. It's either grow, adapt, you know what I'm saying? Adapt or die at this point, right? And I'm not saying to adapt to use. I'm not saying to use AI. I'm saying when I say adapt, I'm talking about adapt your thinking to understand that humans are going to keep doing this. Adapt to the idea that humans are going to keep doing this. Humans are going to keep evolving, right? They're going to keep going. That is more or less the curse that humans have been cursed with. We've been cursed with the curse, and the curse is we must keep going. We have to keep going, right? We have to keep living. We have to, right? And it's interesting because the thing is, like, people right now are questioning like whether or not we should be having kids and stuff like that. I'm not really going to be like, I don't plan on having kids myself. Not right now, or really in the future. Like, I'd rather adopt, if I'm being real. I'd rather adopt, to be honest with you. I'd rather go to the adoption clinic or adoption center and just adopt a couple kids, because like what are we doing? Like I don't need to add more into the world. Then there's too many already. Okay? And and also it's like because that mentality that's been growing in Gen Z and some of millennials as well, like there is a question to be had about hmm what does it mean to be human? Because if it means for us to keep going, us having kids is the way that we kept it going. Is there another way for us to keep going? Is there another way for us to keep our lineage going without using uh our physical bodies? That's the question we got to ask ourselves, right? What happens when we all just stop having kids? What if we just stopped? Like, no, seriously, it's like what happens if we just all stop having kids? I'm not talking about the social political stuff. I'm talking about the humanistic condition. I'm talking about the humanitarian condition. If humans have been conditioning ourselves to believe that to keep to keep humanity going, we have to have children. But what if having children is now an outdated method? I don't know. I don't know. Huh. This is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna sound crazy. I know. Right now, it's gonna sound crazy. But the future might agree with me. I don't know. I don't know yet. The future might agree with me. Hear me out. What if the kids that we have is not physical kids, but robotic ones? Mmm. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's like what if that is the way that we decide to continue our legacy? Not by physically having kids, but by raising AI children. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going too deep. I'm going too deep. I'm going too deep. I'm in too deep. I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm going too deep. I'm going too deep. Oh my god. I don't even know. I don't even know. Y'all gonna man, they're gonna watch this video and be like, "This nigga was crazy. What the fuck?" I talk too much. Welcome to the channel. Love yourselves, love others, stay wise, stay awesome. Um, just create, make stuff, you know, make things, be creative in whatever way you feel the best way to be creative is. Do that. Fuck it, just be creative, bro, because that's part of what makes us human, is the fact that we're able to do creative things with the intelligence that we were given genetically or biologically, I guess. Do something creative, bro. Just try. Fuck it. That's your legacy, man. That's your legacy. Creativity. That's your legacy. Do it. All right. Peace.